Good evening, one and all, to round 5 of the oNiD, should I say? The oNiD's British Stockcar Championship. There you go. Words stuttering. It doesn't really work when that happens. We're back here for round 5, a delayed season following a missed race at Silverstone a few weeks ago, so running a little bit late on the season calendar. We're at Thruxton, one of Britain's fastest average speed circuits. Long straights, long curving bends allow the cars to open up the throttle a little bit and potentially get some very high speed action this evening. I said Thruxton with our sprint races, 3/4 hour races, which would be led away with race control, rolling starts. It will be a very fun evening. In the comms booth with me, as always, is a wonderful Scotty. Good evening to you. How are we doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's great to be back. Only our second sprint round of the season. 3 20-minute races, one being reverse grid, or one of 2 reverse grid races of this season. And Thruxton, much like Castlecombe for our previous sprint round, high-speed circuit. Much action we had at Castlecombe. I'm sure we will see much action here tonight as well, especially since coming into this round, the championships are very close.
Indeed,
If they work.
If they work. Oh, I don't think they're working, unfortunately. A bit of a blank screen there, but championship standings are quite close, still all to play for in the standings, especially between the Pro-Am drivers, as we see Alfie Bevan overall on the left there. This is the overall standings. Pro-Am I don't think we've quite got, but we'll go for the overall. Alfie Bevan leading the way, 1 point between him and Pavo, 5 points between all top 3 drivers. It is that close for the championship as it stands. Lord Fraser 4th, Conti 5th, Hill 6th, Silver 7th, Hine 8th, Peters 9th, and your top 10 round up by Alex Wood. Ben Beams 11th, Stephen Bain 12th, tied 12th with Olivia there in 12th. God knows I've had issues pronouncing that last name all season. Overstreet 14th, Maya 15th, Capscar 16th, Ely 17th, Oscar 18th, Akopov 19th, Kanoji 20th, and Toscano 21st. But the split between some of the midfield drivers, very close indeed, all to play for in that midfield fighting. I think we were supposed to potentially see
It was
pro
literally working 1 second ago before I brought it up. And then said, no. There we go. It is working. It's playing funny buggers with me, but yes, as you can see there in pro standings is pretty much the same. I think it's actually reversed. Alfie Bevan 1 point lead over Pavot. Dondolo 9 points back. However, Dondolo is missing this round, and this does take 1 drop round into consideration. But yeah, Dondolo will need a good final round to make sure they're still in the fight. Contu down in 5th place, 41 points off. And then in the AM standings, it's Zach Silver dominant lead, but close battle for 2nd place. Overstreet leading Ben Beams by 1 point. Then further 4 points back is Alex Wood. So big fight for the between 2nd and 4th. Close fight between Ben Maya and Adam Ely. Neither of them are here tonight, so they'll be fighting out for that final play, for that 5th place next week when we head to Brands Hatch for our final round. Qualifying is already underway by 2.5 minutes, so we're already seeing lap times in. So let us see. Zach Silver currently first driver to set a flying lap. Let's have a look at Ben Beams coming up to the final chicane here at Thruxton.
These cars can take the curbs, and they're all very much riding the curbs there. That's almost like a track cut. I need to be careful before race control maybe giving a bit of finger wagging. Conti comes to the line, sets the fastest time. Ben Beams will come to the line. Won't improve, will stay put for now, as Alfie going down into the middle sector.
Coming through Church Corner, very high speed corner, very important to carry all speed you can and not run wide onto the grass, compromise your exit. This up to the final chicane here. The cars will get onto the limiter and will be on it for a good second or 2 before braking hard for the final chicane. You can take a couple of different lines on the entry here. Take a wide line in or a tight line, but then careful over the curbs through the chicane. Don't hit the tire wall on the inside of the second apex up to line now. Alfie Bevan will set 1:16.5, setting the benchmark for now. We'll join James Pavot, who's still yet to set a lap time coming up, and we're already nearly halfway through the session. Can see in the top right, temperatures very low for this qualifying session, 9 degrees ambient, 17 degrees track temp. Temperatures Stevie Bean, if he was here, would be quite fond of. But unfortunately, Stevie not here for this round. Pavot now across line will be 17.3, nearly 9/10 off the top time from Bevan, but does slot into P3.
Indeed, that's quite a hefty gap between first and second. There's 3 minutes and a half to go. Still all to play for, as Wood, I think, is the only other person not yet set a lap time. We have 11 drivers. But I think we're expecting a couple more still going onto the track to set a lap time.
Alex Wood on their first flying lap, 1:19. Slots themselves into P. It's still a bit of time to maybe find a bit of confidence. Let's see what those sectors are. See who's improving. Pavot and Contu are improving. Let's see. Pavot is a little further around on the track. Just coming out of Church Corner now, on the run to the final chicane. Let's go on board for the end of this lap into the chicane. So we're taking middle of the road line over the curbs, keeping the car nice and settled, trying straightening the final apex as much as possible to put the horsepower down. Now across line, it will be good enough for P2. Let's have a look at Conti here, a little further behind now through the chicane. Not taking as much for the second apex curb, but cutting that third curb a bit much. Runs them a little bit wide over the grass as they come across the line. I don't think it will be an improvement in the end, but not enough to gain any positions.
No, stays Pet Pavot and comes to a bit of straw. I think he might have an off track and has actually returned to the pits. Alfie's not improving on his time on his current lap, and will be looking to potentially find a bit more time eventually, as of now staying put. As Silver, personal best in P6. Still got half a lap to go.
Yeah, coming out of Goodwood corner now, very long corner, very important to get right so you carry the momentum all the way to Church Corner, which is very difficult to see the apex where you need to turn in. Very important to carry the speed around there, not using too much curb on the exit. Only a tenth slower than Alfie Bevan's time at the previous split point. Just the final chicane to go. Very tight line on entry for Zach Silver. Picks up first apex, second apex, and the third apex pretty well, getting the bar down quite nicely. So up to line. Where can Zach Silver put themselves? It's up to P3 for current leader, championship leader. Alfie Bevan coming through Goodwood corner now, looking to improve. Set the bar at that little bit higher as they're on their penultimate lap for the session.
Yeah, trying to make inroads. Oh, that's not going to help his cause in the slightest. On wide, and I think that'll be an inverted lap for sure.
We'll see it through the final chicane. Is nearly 2/10 up if it is still valid. Unfortunately, don't have any way of seeing if it is valid or not. So up to line, will we see an improvement here? 16.2, or sorry, 16.5 for their last lap. So not an improvement there. Let's go a little bit back. Gus Peters looks like they're improving out of the final corner from P6 at the moment. In the end, does not improve. So drivers struggling to improve towards the end of the session, and everyone will be on their final flying lap. It's let's see who's coming through Church Corner. Here's Ben Beams, currently sitting down in 9th place as Ben Asker. Session has come to a close. So coming up to the final chicane now. Getting a little twitchy, gets onto the grass in the braking zone, runs themselves out wide. That definitely won't be an improvement for them. Conti will be the next car to come through, but loses the rear end in the braking zone and we'll reset to the pit lane. James Pavot is next through final chicane, taking love curb through the first, second and third apexes, cutting the course as much as they're allowed to. Up to the line now, will be enough for pole. No, they're still half a second off by the end of the session. I think Olivia might have finished their final lap. As Gus Peters now through the final chicane, see if he can improve from P6.
Try to get to the line. I don't think he gets to the line in time, but I think the session boots him back to the pits just as his time hits 0.
Or perhaps it potentially invalidated the lap. But then our grid then for the upcoming race. Alfie Bevan starting on pole ahead of James Pavot for the front row. Zach Silver will be in third, have Miko Kuntu in fourth. Olivia will be taking P5, have Gus Peters in P6. Alex Wood in P7 with Christian Overstreet P8. Ben Beams P9 and Ben Asker will be in P10. And it does seem like that is all of our drivers that have been able to turn up today. So fortunately, a bit of a smaller grid, but with a short circuit and 3 quick races, we should still see plenty of racing action this evening.
Absolutely. 10 drivers only on the grid, unfortunately, for this penultimate round, but the sprint feature, the sprint races, quarter of an hour, 3 of them will give everyone a chance to get stuck in and involved in a good race.
Yes, will do for sure. Now, any moment now, we'll see our grid lining up. Once again, this week we are going to have our rolling start back again. So drivers will won't have to worry about a good clutch release setting off from the line. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait for the drivers to complete the formation lap. Won't be too long, as it is a shortish lap. But just 40 seconds before we get going for the formation lap. And then after that we will have the cars roaring into Allard turn 1 for the first time this evening.
Well, and, yeah, it's nice to see these cars all lined up. 5 rows of 2 cars, but yeah, especially this circuit. You do need downforce, you do need grip, especially for the fast circuits. But so fast corners, should I say? But these cars, I'm sure, they won't fail to entertain. So we see all the lights go out. We wait for now the pace car to creep forward. See what we can further away for the formation lap. It's Rob Wilson Semenska in the car. Rob Wilson Psycho. So most of you in the early community. That's what happens there, and services for this evening.
So here our field head round. Watch over the rear wing of our safety car. Making its way into the Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave chicane. Thruxton with a few tracks to have every corner named. Field now making their way through the back end of the circuit, the high speed section. Not much braking to be done. It's all about carrying as much corner speed through the long corners. Puts a lot of pressure, a lot of load on the front left tyre through this back end of the circuit. Can maybe see a little bit of tyre wear come into play. We are still running the normal 200% tyre wear that we've had all season. Might be a little bit of management of that, but with sort of the coolish track conditions, up to 11 degrees ambient, still 13 degrees track temp. Shouldn't be too hard on the tyres, but could still see some front left overheating throughout the 20-minute races. Through Church Corner here, looks easy at these speeds, but when you're running flat out at racing speeds, it will be quite difficult. And then this is a section where drivers will be hitting the limiter. It'll make it difficult to make moves into the final chicane. Even with the slipstream, you won't be gaining on the competitors in front, limited by the rev limiter and your gearing, the spec gearing that all the cars must run, but braking for the final chicane. Different lines that can be taken that will present a couple of opportunities. Safety car now making its way into the pits. Here we go for our first of 3 races this evening here at Thruxton.
And we come to the line, and now we are away. As green flag is now waved into turn 1. They all go almost side by side in the background. Car going off very wide. That is Overstreet electing to take a very unusual line through turn 1. They will rejoin and continue, but down a fair few positions on the inside, side by side with P2 and P3 Pavot. Up the inside of Silver. Silver's not giving it up, but I think now as they come to the corner, that is move done for Pavot up to second.
Holding on to second place from the front row on the outside. And now Zach Silver coming under a bit of pressure from Olivia, who was looking to see if an opportunity would come their way from Zach fighting Pavot. As you can see, Silver already jumping over half a second off the back of Pavot. As Olivia tries to put pressure on, gets into the slipstream, taking a tighter line on the exit of Goodwood as they head down towards Church Corner. It'll all be about this run through Church Corner. You can see Alfie Bevan a little bit wider than Pavot, and Zach Silver opens up a little bit of a gap to Olivia, who's had a bit of a poor run out front. It's Pavot who's closing in on Alfie, but hitting that rev limiter, won't be able to close up as much as they'd like, and will not close enough to make a move into the chicane. Meanwhile, in the background, Conti has made a move on Olivia and has got themselves up to P4.
Very nice and a good move for them to get up into P4, and Alfie B, the one for the first lap, 0.4 of a second ahead.
So into the chicane for the second time. Conti starting to close up on Zach Silver. Starting to put on a little bit of pressure. And Pavot in second place, not falling too far back from Alfie just yet, using slipstream to good advantage. But also a little further back, Gus Peters, someone who you expect to be a little closer to the front of the field, trying to close up on Alex Wood, trying to get themselves into P6, start chasing the top half of the grid.
Gap between 5th and 6th, as you can see, has really opened up. Moving behind now, all those fast drives up ahead, getting into the slipstream, getting toes off each other, able to get away. They could form a little breakaway pack.
Bevan and Pavot breaking away. You can see saying personal best laps of the race in the 16.5s. No one else even setting a 1:16. Showing just sort of the pace advantage they have over the rest of the field. But Peters, that we're watching, dropping back a little bit from Alex Wood, though. Alex Wood, very odd line into this first chicane, runs very deep, puts on a very tight line for Cobb Corner, and will compromise their exit out of the section. That does allow Gus Peters to close up. Though, is it quite close enough? Using best slipstream now through Noble Corner, running all 4 wheels onto the curb for Alex Wood. Be careful as that curb is quite raised, will unsettle the car. And so, you know, as much as you want to run that curb, you do have to be careful it doesn't bounce you out wide and eventually cost you momentum. With the slipstream, Gus Peters closing in into Church Corner's own, just in front. Olivia runs wide onto the grass. Luckily has enough of a gap. Meanwhile, further in front, Conti's got a good run through Church. Gets to the inside of Zach Silver and will try and make the move in the braking zone for the final chicane. Zach is going to hold it round the outside though. Go hold on to the place for now, but Conti trying to get the better exit and will get back alongside. They'll be the outside this time as they head to T1. That might not be a bad place to run through T1. Hangs it round the outside, but Zach Silver is still side by side, neck and neck as they come up to Campbell. Zach on the inside for the entry here, close down on the apex. Conti again in front will have the apex for the second part, but runs in quite deep, will compromise their line for Seagrave. That might give Zach Silver better exit, which it does. Can Zach now get alongside as they head towards Goodwood corner through? Noble here is looking to the inside here, but very risky, especially with that inside curve that we mentioned last lap. Country gives them the room, but Zach not quite able to get alongside this round. Further back as Alfie spins.
Oh no. Oh dear. That's going to change things up big time.
Yeah, and we have had
safety car.
Safety car called for Alfie spin, which is going to be quite good news for Alfie. Will bunch the field back up. So the gaps that we've seen appearing, especially the gap between Gus and Olivia, with Gus just having got past Alex Wood. But a little bit annoying for Zach Silver there. He was starting to put the pressure on Gunter again, was maybe looking to make a move back in front. But yeah, we'll have to find another opportunity. Maybe one will present itself on the restart.
Maybe, I mean, just potentially. We'll see what happens. The cars will be all backed up into each other and well, essentially back to square one for another rolling start. It'll be single file, won't be double file like we saw at the start, but those cars are all gathered up again. And at least all four, and we'll get racing for another for a second restart of this race.
Yeah, we will. Waiting for the field bunch up. Got P10, last car coming out of Seagrave, our leading pack in Goodwood corner here. Safety car running quite slowly, maybe attempting to lie the pack to catch up and get going again at the end of this lap. Maybe a little ambitious, but hey, you know, if we can make it work, lose as little laps as possible, that would be nice. But now through Church, we are seeing the field, back for the field, just closing up. Ben Asker currently at the tail end of our field. So Overstreet has got themselves back up to P9 after their little adventure at the start of lap 1. So we can see the full pack ready to go. So we may see safety car in at the end of this lap. We're coming into the final chicane. Does look like safety car pulling away, gapping the field and leaving James Pavot this time to control the field through the final chicane, and will be waiting, ready to set off, is waiting. When will they put the power down across the line? And now they put the power down into T1. Very short run to T1 from where James has put the power down, not leaving much opportunity. But Ben Beams trying to attack Alex Wood, who's at a bit of a poor start here. Into second chicane, Olivia going for a move round the outside of Zach Silver, who's caught up behind Contu in third, and looks to have got that move done. Alfie Bevan looking to try and make spaces, sort of getting shoveled out wide a little bit, isn't to make up any yet. Stuck behind Gus Peters here, but Zach Silver trying to come back around on Olivia through the outside of Noble. Will give Zach the inside for Goodwood. And looks like Zach will get that move done as Ben Asker at the back of the field has had a spin coming out of Seagrave, and that will drop them well off the pack. Olivia trying to come back at Zach Silver into Church corner. Is pushing. Look at Zach using all of the curb on the exit, not getting onto the grass. So Olivia will have a bit of slipstream, but will be hitting the limiter in the background. Gus Peters having to defend from Alfie Bevan as well. Into the chicane, Olivia not able to make a move, but Alfie trying to complete the move on the inside, will get it job done in front of Gus Peters, back into 5th place.
So we'll see what happens now. Everything looks to be logical. I'm actually still like, scratch that. P4 and P3 are side by side as they go down through turn 2 and 3. So, back at it they go. And they're going to go side by side into the first chicane, and that is that's Olivia going very wide in avoiding action. And there's contact with Bevan and around. And that's a spin. Please don't get collected. Please don't get collected. Thank goodness they don't.
Rest of the field doing very well there to avoid Olivia. Spun sideways across the racing line. Big slide for Alex Wood coming off that curb that we mentioned. That noble corner compromising their run as they try and get themselves back in front of Ben Beams. Meanwhile, from the field, Conti has closed up and made a move on Pavot. Has run out wide here through Church Corner and just trying to hold the car off the grass. Has compromised their momentum, and James has got back alongside. We'll have the inside as they come up to the final chicane. 11 minutes to go. James on the inside. Conti trying to round the outside. Will back out and slot back into line. James holding on to the lead for now. But as they come on to start another lap, Conti still in slipstream, a little bit quicker that lap. Will be keeping the pressure on for, I imagine, the rest of the race.
I would imagine so as well. We'll keep an eye on that as things do develop. That is definitely something. I think this gap between first and second as well. Third place, just over 2 seconds away.
Zach Silver dropping back a little bit. Starting to come under pressure from Alfie Bevan as well. See the field through Noble Corner. Now into the right-hander of Goodwood. James running very wide there, and they had to get off the throttle to not run into the grass. That's where James is struggling in this race, and that's what's giving Conti the massive run. James defends the inside into Church Corner, will compromise for his entry, and might allow Conti to get the better exit in the slipstream. Conti not able to carry enough momentum and will not be close enough towards the chicane, but further back, Alfie Bevan closing in on Zach Silver. Zach is going to defend the inside into the chicane. Alfie Bevan not brave enough to try and move around the outside, but setting a move up as they come out of the final chicane. Look how much speed they're trying to carry. And actually, for the lead, Conti trying to lick up the inside of T1. Not quite getting that move to work. Alfie Bevan is trying to go round the outside and will make the move done. Round the outside, Zach Silver through T1 up to third place now. 2.5 seconds to chase down the leading duo.
Well, instead of being treated to a good battle, and we are in battles left, right and centre, even and Silver quite close to the best of the rest of the stands. The leaders still edging out that gap. 2.3 seconds is now the gap between second and third, but little battles here and there are having their own way of entertainment, let's say.
Of course, you have to be mindful of Alfie Bevan's tap on the back of Olivia that caused them to spin. That could be a post-race penalty, which Alfie Bevan can't really afford, as he missed the first round of the race, and that will of the season. Sorry, that will be their drop round, and as such, any more bad results, and it will be points off of their final championship total. And that could be the difference between winning the championship and losing it in both the overall and pro classes. Remember, there's only 1 point between the top two in both of those standings, so every race matters. It was a poor result in our Donington feature race that really has Alfie on the back foot. As every other race they've competed in so far this season, they have managed to win, except that one feature in Donington, and they were down in 15th place. That's really what has allowed Pavot to be in the title fight, despite Bevan otherwise being so dominant. But we'll go on board with Alfie, who's trying to close up. Already closed up about a second on Conti over the last lap and a half. Only 1.4 seconds more to go before they're fighting for P2.
Yeah. Happens closing. That's the thing. Keep an eye on that. 7 and a bit minutes to go. I don't think that top 3 battle, maybe top 4 if there's a Devon comes up, is quite over yet. Let's take that with a pinch of salt. See what happens.
Yeah, Conti still isn't too far behind Pavot. Not quite putting on too much pressure, but just waiting in the wings for Pavot to make a mistake, which it looks like he has through the final chicane. Conti's right on that rear bumper and forcing Pavot to take a defensive line into T1. But look how much quicker Alfie Bevan's last lap was. It was 9 tenths quicker than Pavot last time around. So the top three all closing in, and it won't be too long before Conti is put in the difficult spot of trying to attack Pavot for the top spot, but having to defend from Bevan to try and hold on to P3. A little further back, Olivia has moved on Ben Beams, who looks to have made a mistake through the first corner, and has got back up to P7 after that spin with a bump from Alfie Bevan. 2.5 seconds to try and catch Alex Wood to take P6 if they can, but the top three all closing in. Just 1.2 second covers the podium positions now. Only 6 minutes left to go through the race as we see them all through Church Corner.
Indeed we do. They're still staying quite nip and tuck. Not quite over with yet. As yeah, the top three really now closing in. Alfie trying to fall back into positions essentially.
You can see the lap times are Bevan 1 second quicker than Conti, but Pavot sort of, what's the word, responding to some extent. 17.2, only 4 tenths slower than Bevan, 6 tenths quicker than Conti as they head through Campbell, Cobb, Seagrave for the 13th time this race. Into Noble Corner, it's really Alfie Bevan that looks to be on the biggest charge here. He practically has caught up to the back of Conti. As we say in racing, it is one thing to catch, it is another to overtake.
It's a tricky one because it looks like it has the pace, but it's such a high circuit. We're in about 2 or 3 braking zones where you can really try and string the car up the inside essentially. It's difficult to do.
Into the final chicane here. This is where Pavot has been weakest so far this race. Seen Conti take quite a bit on Pavot a couple of laps ago. Looks like Bevan's the one with the weakest run through here, and look at the response. All of our top three within the 16s. A personal best for Conti, who is the fastest of the three that lap around. Starts to close in once again on Pavot, giving themselves another bit of breathing room, another car length to Bevan. As you can see, closing up through the chicane. Drivers bouncing over the curbs, trying to open up the corners, but the curbs unsettling the cars, pushing them a little bit right, disrupting the traction as the drivers try and put all the horsepower to the ground. Look at the different lines we see here into Goodwood Corner. Such a long right-hander, and it looks like Conti might have a bit of a run on Pavot, but it's not enough to get alongside. Will be in the slipstream towards Church Corner. Good run through here, and there might be a potential move on towards the final chicane. Not enough momentum through there though for Conti, and it's Alfie Bevan that closes back on them, but still few car lengths between all of them as they get into the final chicane. Time is running out. We will see 3 laps to go as our drivers cross the line.
Indeed, the top three are now looking inseparable. It is quite very much best and rest. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Actually about to come up in a lap. P10, Ben Arster is just going into turn 2 and 3 now.
Defensive line from Conti, and Bevan is going to try and hang it round the outside. That gives them the inside through Cobb Corner, but the outside for Seagrave. Can Bevan hang it in there? Not quite. Is just going to have to slot back into line, but this has allowed Pavot to break away. Has a second lead now over the pair fighting for second place. Bevan shadowing Conti through the middle sector here. Through the long right-hander of Goodwood, will have the slipstream towards Church, but not possible to make a move through Church Corner. Can Bevan get the exit? A little bit slower on the entry is Bevan, trying to carry more momentum on as you can see Conti immediately pulling over to the right-hand side of the track to take the inside for the final chicane, but with the cars hitting the limiter, Bevan can't quite get close enough into the final chicane. We'll have to go round one more time. Only 2 laps to go, but Conti runs wide, gets into the barrier and goes for a spin.
to rejoin. Fast traffic approaching. P4 is about to go past. That's Zach Silver going back up into the podium. And what a absolute horrid situation. It is called the safety car for the closure of this race, I am sure. Oh boy.
That, I fear, will signal the end of the race. Just over a minute to go, as Pavot is on the back end of the circuit. And Ben Asker will unlap themselves. Unless we get a quick restart here, which I think our race control are trying to do. They'll need to...
As there's a car going off, and that is P10. Ben Asker going completely off track. And I don't think we're going to get this quick restart that we planned.
No, it would be very tight to get the field bunched up and then across the start-finish line in the 15 seconds we have remaining. This restart isn't going to happen. I'll tell you what has happened. Cars trying to catch up have ran wide off the track, and Olivia has lost P6, I believe. And Ben Beams has had a moment coming onto the grass. So despite a safety car in the final lap, it has not stopped our drivers pushing to catch up, but it will be James Pavot who will take our first race victory under safety car. Alfie Bevan will take second place, having had a spin from the lead and recovering. Zach Silver will take P3, with Kuntu spinning on the penultimate lap. Will have to settle for P4. Gus Peters takes P5, head of Alex Wood in P6. Olivia will take P7, Ben Beams in P8, Overstreet in P9, and Ben Asker finishing a lap off the lead lap will be our last finisher of the race.
What a shame for that. We were hoping to get a quick restart, but unfortunately just a couple of drivers pushing a little bit too hard to get back to the field, and that's nullified any potential restart that we were going to get. We're just waiting for one last car to come to check us out. Ben Asker in P10, and hopefully get the server to transition. And I believe we're going to another qualifying session. And Ben, that's not how you take the final chicane.
The tyres quite worn after 20 minutes of racing. Will be struggling, as Ben Asker shows, but will come across the line to take a P10 result. We'll still get points, and hopefully we'll be more prepared for our second race, which will be coming up shortly.
Absolutely. Oh, that was an interesting way to end that race, unfortunately, but we'll go to the next race very shortly. And yes, 2 more races to come. 2 more 20-minute races for your entertainment this evening. And yeah, so we'll hopefully see the same amount of action that we've already had. And I've just dropped my mouse. Ow! That hurt. Anyway, professional as always.
Yeah, so we'll have a quick server restart to set up for our second qualifying session and then our final 2 races. It will be a 4-minute qualifying session coming up before 2 20-minute races, the second of which will be a full reverse grid of the first of our second race results. So overtaking has been a little bit difficult here. Not too difficult, just a little bit. But our drivers will have to make their way back through the field.
Just in the ping, server 2 is live. So not much longer until we get to the second. It'll be another qualifying session to determine the grid for race 2, and I believe the final race is based on a full reverse grid, if I recall correctly, of the race 2 results.
is indeed.
I'm not going mad. That's fine. Phew.
So we just have a little session, little 5-minute warm up for our drivers to get back into the server. Still conditions quite cold. 4 degrees ambient, 15 degrees track temp for our little warm up session. We'll see how they evolve into the into our qualifying session. Only 4 laps, meaning the drivers will not have a lot of time to perfect their laps. They will get no more than 3 flying laps.
Yeah, you've got to make it count essentially as car reversing. What are they doing?
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
I did.
But yes, our drivers just having a little time to warm themselves back up. Track conditions will have changed a bit since the first race. And now we have Rob demonstrating how not to take the final chicane, the club chicane.
He's actually doing a bit of drifting. Of course he does.
Yes, just don't be doing that in the races, Rob.
No, please don't. Please don't.
I think we've seen enough drivers going off under safety car at the end of that previous race.
Yeah, it's now. As we did just wait for him just to go over. It won't be too much longer. We'll get going once more.
Yep, we will get going once more fairly shortly. It's still just another couple of minutes. Let's have a little look, shall we, at those standings once again. If they again decide to work. They've decided to be very temperamental today. There we go. Alfie Bevan. Yeah, Alfie Bevan leading the overall standings by 1 point. But after that previous race result, please, Pavone will it'll actually be tied on points for the lead, as the difference between all positions in the 20-minute races throughout the race is 1 point. Alfie Bevan took second, James Pavone took first. So Pavone gains 1 point on Alfie to make it tied going into the second race. Of course, Dondolo isn't here this week, but with the drop round, will still be in contention when we get a proper standings update for next week. Same goes for Frieza. Be a good opportunity for Contu to try and make up some points, get some good finishes on the board, but that mistake at the end of that first race giving away a bit of potential if they're to try and really take the battle to Frieza for P4.
Yeah, absolutely. They just now need to be cautious. That race hurt them. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, mistake on that. What ended up being the penultimate lap as the safety car came out will really hurt Conti there.
Yeah, so we're just waiting now for the session to take over to qualifying. Just to have another little reminder of our Pro-Am standings. Again, Alfie Bevan leading Pavone by 1 point. That will now be tied, just like in the overall coming into this race. And in the AMS, as again, if the standings want to work, there we go. Overstreet, I was just getting the results back up for my reference. Overstreet, please.
No.
These standings really do hit me today.
Yes.
There you go. Overstreet was 1 place behind Ben Beams, and so now Overstreet and Ben Beams are tied in the AM standings for P2. Alex Wood was in front of both of them, and I believe is now 2 points behind the pair of them. So 2 points separate second, third, and fourth in the AM standings, not in counting drop rounds, of course, or not having proper drop round calculations as we are mid-round. But yeah, extremely close. That's ties in both overall pro and AM standings in all of our standings. So it cannot be any closer. It is all to play for, and we are about to get underway for qualifying in just a second's time. Remember, 4-minute qualifying session as our drivers now head out onto track to try and set a flying lap, set the grid for the second race of the evening.
I'm very short qualifying, maybe 2 or 3 laps only, but see how it will ends up. We have 10 drivers now back in, which is great. 11 should I say, as we did have 11, we had 10 races, so we've got 11 who's just joined for race 2, trying to figure out who it is.
Rob has joined the track, our safety car.
Okay, never mind.
Track temp much higher this session, 20 degrees ambient, 26 degrees track temp. That is a good 10 degrees warmer than the first session. Drivers will need to adjust their tyre pressures slightly for this session. I could catch a bit of them out as track grip has come down a bit slightly. We were up at 97% for our first race. And we are now back down to 96. I think that has got someone who has ran wide off the track. Chris, magnificent way to start the lap. We'll head back to pit lane. So let's jump on board with our race 1 winner, Pavot, as I start the first flying lap of our second qualifying session.
Top runners for last race get started. We'll go down into turn 1 and turn 2, which is 2, 3, and 4 follow very quickly. For the slowest part of the circuit, it looked like a bit of an understeer as we went through turn 3 and get onto the power turn 4. You also follow the track, and it is now pretty much flat out down into 5, 6, and 7. Again, which come in quick succession. Very twitchy is James. That was an odd moment going on entry. Hugs the inside of this fast right hand of turn 7. We'll have turn 8 to come up very shortly. And again, dirty Stephen note, he has to brake. They have to brake through here. That's interesting. He does slow the car down, stays in 4th gear, but gets up to 230, 240 potentially kilometers an hour. Does he hit 250? No, 240 as he gets to the final chicane, which is an incredibly high speed for the circuit that is so narrow and so quite free-flowing. But having come along 117.0, we have seen quicker from people behind who are on laps, while those Alpha Beaver comes to alliance in the 121. Oh, Conti gets there to 116. That's more like it. That's what we expect. What we're looking for actually in the usual lap times as flurry of 116s comes onto the board. Pavot goes second with just into the 117s. But times are now coming.
Conti has returned to the pits, so that will be their session over. I believe this will be everyone's final lap of the session. Just a little too late to get a third flying lap in. Alfie Bevan not improving in the first sector. A 10th down on Conti's time. But it was the second sector. Alfie Bevan made a mistake. It currently leaves them P7 after the opening laps. And if they can't set it right on this final lap, they will be towards the back end of the circuit. They are starting to catch up to, I believe that's Ben Beams just in front of them. Could be a bit of traffic in this final sector. Ben Beams has made a couple of mistakes onto the rev limiter as they break into the final chicane. Can see a purple middle sector for Alfie Bevan. Needs a clean run through this final chicane. As they come out of the final corner now, we'll even get a little bit of slipstream. Pavot's bailed out of their final lap, and it's only P2 for Bevan, but it bumps Pavot down to the second row of the grid. Zach Silver on for a decent lap here will bump Gus Peters to the third row of the grid. Ben Beams has completed front lap. Alex Wood unable to improve, and Ben Asker looks like maybe a mistake there, as a little bit slow out of the final, comes across the line, and session will take over, but Ben Asker staying in P10 with 120.9 for their final lap there. So then, our second very short qualifying session, only 2 flying laps for all of our drivers. This time, after a mistake on the penultimate lap of the first race, is Mikko Kontu who takes pole position. Alfie Bevan will be starting from second on the grid, and race 1 winner James Lepavot will be starting P3. AM leader Zach Silver takes P4 ahead of Gus Peters in 5th place. Christian Overstreet will take P6, only 2/10 off of getting in the top half. Was actually 9/10, apologies. But did just beat Ben Beams by a 1/4 of a tenth, so very close there for P6, and another 1/4 of a tenth further back, Olivia in P8, so very close there between 6th, 7th and 8th. Alex Wood just a further 10th back, so very close battle there, and then Ben Asker will round out our 10 car grid. Again, it will be another rolling start for this race. So can Alfie Bevan, how quickly will Alfie Bevan get to the lead of the race, do you think?
It'll be interesting to see, to be perfectly honest. You know he's got the pace, and that one mistake on his first race quite early on was maybe a bit of a shot himself in the foot a little bit by dropping so far down. But I do anticipate him potentially getting back up into a good position very, very quickly. We shall see, as we just await for the safety car to lead the field away for the second rolling start of 3 races this evening. We do actually have P3 not on the grid.
P4, that is Zach Silver.
Oh dear, is that internet issues again?
Hopefully not. But it does seem like Zach Silver not on the grid. May not be able to make the second race here, which would be a real shame for the driver doing so well within the AM class.
It would be a mighty shame, I think. If he is going to start the race, it will be from the pits.
Our field now heads round to start our formation lap. Track temp still up at 26 degrees. Ambient has come down to 16 degrees. The track's still at 96%. So does
do we have Zach Silver now coming onto the track?
Yes, Zach Silver has gone to the track. It is up to race control as to whether he'll be allowed to take his original grid position in P4.
We'll find out sooner rather than later, hopefully. Nothing else coming up as of yet.
So here is Zach Silver coming up to the field. He would be starting on the left-hand side, the outside of the second row. It does look like Zach is just going to be slotting into the final row.
So, allowing the race start by the looks of it, but at a very reduced last place as it stands for Zach Silver. So he'll get to race, but maybe a bit of a wish of the grid here for the start of this formation lap.
safety car starts to make its way towards pit lane as drivers come up to the final chicane. It'll be Conti on the inside front row. Alfie Bevan, our championship leader in both the overall and AMA, by only a single point coming into this round. It looks like our field is going to miss the chicane for the rolling start as they head up to the line now, waiting for the green flag, and there it is. We are away for our second race of the evening. Conti holds the inside, but Alfie Bevan carrying the momentum round the outside. Looks like we'll take a lead, and a poor start for Conti will lead them under pressure from Pavot into Campbell corner. Pavot round the outside on the entry, and it's down to third place already for a pole sitter.
Oh dear, that's not good for them, and there's a car around. It's Ben Beams off on the inside of the chicane. He'll get going once more, but then drop down to stone dead last as everyone else gets away very, very well. And that's a great start for Alfie.
Up to 8th place for Zach Silvers, starting from last. Has quite a way to go to get back up to their P4 in the slipstream of Alex Wood. Now is closing in towards Church Corner. Alex Wood is going to take a defensive, a tight line into the corner. Zach Silver trying to go for the cutback here. Can he carry the momentum? Can he get alongside? We'll just get the nose in there, and the two of them actually had a little bit of a tap there through Church Corner, but much later on the break, Zach Silver down the inside of the club chicane will take P7. Next car will be Olivia, 1.5 seconds up the road. Olivia attacking Chris Overstreet, getting themselves up into the top 5 with the inside into T1.
Brilliant stuff. Absolutely fantastic. They're going to be quite chuffed with that, I think, as that's Olivia on for that midfield 5th position, as the leaders even pulling away from Conti in 3rd.
Like they were in the first race until Alfie Bevan's mistake. Both of them sliding, both of them onto the grass, having hit the curb at Noble Corner. James Pavot is going to get into the grass on the outside of Goodwood as well, and that's going to get Conti back up to P2. Conti closing in for the lead of the race after mistake from the top 2 drivers. Closing, but not close enough into Church Corner. Can he get a good run through Church and maybe challenge for the lead into the club chicane? It will be difficult, but there is a potential opportunity. But looks like Alfie Bevan just a slightly better run. Either will have too much of a gap for Conti to close in through the chicane. Now for these 2 drivers, we see how jumping over the curbs can be a little bit iffy, as looks like Conti has got a better run, is looking to the inside as they come towards T1, has got the nose on the inside, but squeezed onto the inside curb. Alfie Bevan will carry the momentum around the outside and will hold on to the lead just about.
Only just Conti's knocking on the door, and Pavot's now caught back up and is now wanting a piece of this battle. Peters in 4th. It's not that far behind either. Yellow flag. Safety car out on circuit.
Safety car is out.
Must have been an instant we didn't potentially quite catch. I think P10 had an off. Ben Asker colliding with the wall pretty heavily may have caused an issue there.
Our safety car is going to come out and collect the pack. I believe it was either Ben Beams or Ben Asker that had a mistake, both of them dropping off the tail end of the field. And we can see Olivia up 3 places from the start, having a good start up into the top 5. Zach Silver down 3 places from where they were meant to start on the grid, but of course actually starting from the back of the grid is technically up 3 places as well.
That was a safety car going ahead of everyone, trying to unlock themselves essentially, and indeed they do, and I think now the field almost caught back up as we just await P10 in the background. That's been asked to get caught back up to the field. I'm not sure if safety car's coming in now or we're going to get another lap on the safety car. I think we're going to get one more lap. Potentially not, actually.
Into the final chicane.
Oh, we are, yes.
Alfie taking the chicane, looks like the safety car. The safety car has stead out for one more lap. So we will get one more lap around safety car. Still 16 minutes to go, so no fear of a, at least not yet, of a second race ending under safety car. But Ben Beams coming into the pits. Now, while under safety car, might as well take a fresh set of tires. We may only be 4 minutes into the race, but every little helps as they repair the damage from their car, I would assume. Every little helps, and it could help them maybe get off of into some higher positions.
Other branding is available as we we go down through. That's going through the pit exit, and indeed does rejoin the wall, rejoin the back of the pack. And actually, yeah, every little helps. Takes an opportunistic pit stop, doesn't he?
Will be interesting if anyone else feels like a pit stop if we get safety car sort of at the midpoint of the race. New tyres, well, it's not a long race. We do, as we mentioned, that 200% tyre wear could lead to some around high-speed track like this. The front left especially is going to get quite a lot of tyre wear, you know, and the high-speed right-handers, a new front left tyre especially. But of course, you do have to take all 4 tyres on a Assetto Corsa. New tyres could be quite beneficial. So, wonder if we'll see anyone taking that strategy. We have seen James Pavot in the feature race in Donington not change tyres. Jumped up into the lead of the race and managed to hold on, and that was in our longer 40-minute feature races we have this season. So maybe it'd be a little bit too difficult. Safety car making its way back into the pit lane. Alfie Bevan will be taking us for the restart. Can he get a clean start and break away from Contu? Can Pavot challenge and get themselves back up into the first 2 positions? Bevan through the chicane, waiting for the green flag to get us underway for the second time this race.
Holding the green flag, and we are now away for the race start. That was a very late green flag for the race start, almost into turn 1 as they got going, but a green flag we now have, and into turn 2 they go. Everyone looks to be relatively calm going through the first couple. Oh, it's the car around, never mind, and that's Olivia.
Olivia spinning around, luckily not collecting anyone, but unfortunately that is the second time they've spun into racing. Zach Silver has found themselves up to P5 and is challenging Gus Peters to retake the 4th position that they qualified in, but couldn't take the start in. Through Goodwood corner now, the long right-hander, the car's bouncing over the inside curb. Careful not to unsettle the cars too much, but Gus Peters has just about held on for now. Top 3 positions unchanged from the safety car restart. Can just see them in the foreground coming through Church Corner. Zach Silver continuing to put pressure up towards the club chicane. Can Zach Silver maybe just a little too far back to make any audacious moves? We'll have to stay in line for now. Through the first chicane for our leaders, Alfie Bevan still leads way. Contu in second. Pavot closing up a little bit in 3rd position.
Trying to get closer to this top 3 battle is Pavot wanting to try and get back into the lead, but for now, staying put, has a think about making a move. Maybe forces Contu to think a little bit defensively there.
Through the chicane, a little bit wide for Gus Peters in the background. Luckily, Zach Silver dropped back a couple of car lengths, as having a spin at chicane is Ben Asker just losing the rear end. So it looks like Ben maybe not taking new tyres in the pit stop, and giving up a potential little advantage they could have had over the rest of the field. But go back up to Zach Silver, still trying to put pressure on Gus Peters, trying to get P4, but not great exit out of Goodwood. Drops back a little bit, trying to close in into Church Corner, is a lot more aggressive with the momentum in. Can they carry the momentum on the exit? Doesn't look bad in the slipstream as the cars rise up. They'll hit the limiters, which will stop Zach Silver from gaining any more. That means ultimately is not quite close enough into chicane. Meanwhile, a little further back, Ben Beams trying to make a move on Chris over straight down the inside into the chicane, and will take P6.
stuff. A bit of a move on Overstreet there, and Overstreet is immediately on foot as well from Wood in the position.
Is indeed into Campbell corner, thinking about the inside as both of them, but no moves being made just yet. A good lap from Alfie Bevan so far, opening the gap up now 1.5 seconds to Contu, and is starting to solidify the lead as long as they don't make any mistakes for the rest of the race. Alex Wood again, all four wheels on the inside curb at Noble corner, not too phased by how he might unsell the car jumping over it. They've actually got a good run here, tighter line through Goodwood corner, closing in on Overstreet. But that tighter line doesn't allow him to carry as much momentum through Church Corner now. See cars in front running wide. Ben Beams running very wide. Will lose a lot of momentum and maybe lose control of his car through the sign. Will have a jump over an access road. Keeps the car pointing in the right direction, but will drop that back down to P8. Alex Wood trying to find a way to get himself alongside Overstreet for P6. Trying to get the better exit. Will look towards the inside, towards T1. Not quite alongside though, and Overstreet will close the door as they get to the apex.
And breathe. Just for now, as they continue to fight, this little kind of back-end pack of guys fighting away for position, giving us a good show here as yeah, they can keep going at it. That's actually trying to find a Ronda on Overstreet. We're not going to wrap them there. P1's run away with it a little bit now, 1.3 seconds ahead. We'll stick with this battle as Woodson using a lot of curb going through that left-hander, going all four wheels off the curb. That's not necessarily going to help his cause, but it is continuing nonetheless.
Olivia has fallen off the circuit just behind this battle in P9 as we head through Church Corner on board with Ben Beams towards the final club chicane. Ben dropping back a little bit, but Alex Wood not close enough either for a move into the club chicane. Field separating out a bit as Pavot has it per lap that time around and drops over a second behind Contu, who closed up a little bit on Alfie Bevan, setting a personal best lap of the race. But yeah, the field just spreading out a little bit this time as Alex Wood, bit of a per T1 coming under, allows Ben Beams to close up, starting to put a little bit of pressure on for P7 again after that mistake through Church Corner a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So, short-term pain, trying to make it back through the field, but so that short-term pain really hurting them there. See what happens, see what they can do. But as we said, I say Alfie's run away with it. As that's gone wide there from Alex. He's going to go round if he can't save that. Lord's throttle is able to save it. Dear Lord, sir, how the hell did you manage that?
That is an incredible save, but it will not do Alex Wood any good regarding their tyres. Those rear tyres are going to be quite toasty, and Alex Wood will have to be quite careful. But look at these two teammates fighting, pushing through Church Corner, putting a couple of wheels over the curb onto the grass and towards the final corner now. Neither of them able to make any or Alex Wood not able to make a move, actually gets a little squirrely through chicane, has to cut the final part. That loses them a lot of momentum, drops off the back of Ben Beams. A little further in front, Zach Silver dropping off the back of Gus Peters by a few car lengths, is still there in case Gus makes a mistake, but is trying to charge. Was 4/10 quicker than Gus last lap, so trying to charge on back to the rear bumper if Gus puts some pressure on again. But yeah, not quite there at the moment. Does have a bit of work to do at the front. Contu last lap again setting another personal best, closed in a quarter of a second on Alfie Bevan, but has lost a little bit of time this lap. And Olivia, after a mistake through Noble Corner last lap around, dropping them to back of the field, they're back past Ben Asker into P9, but nearly 30 seconds off Alex Wood in 8th place. They will need a safety car to make any more positions. We sort of have 4 packs as Pavot has made a mistake at some point, has dropped well off the top 2 and fallen into the hands of Gus Peters.
Has indeed. We missed that, unfortunately, but that's a battle for 4th and 5th the last 5 minutes that we weren't necessarily expecting. That's nice to see.
Zach Silver, another personal best, closes up half a second on Gus Peters, is starting to put the pressure on. And at this rate, James, even with that mistake in 3rd place, won't have too much to worry about. Look at Gus running a lot wider out of Cobb Corner there, gives him very tight line for Seagrave, and look at how much of a better exit Zach Silver gets. Closes up, certainly within slipstream range. Now through Noble Corner, a corner that is a bit of a nothing corner in some other cars, but in these big stock cars is very much a consideration. Through Goodwood Corner, Zach trying to carry momentum, trying to carry too much momentum, gets 2 wheels onto the grass, trying to hold the car in a straight line, has to take a long way around, and we have a safety car deployed as Chris Overstreet is also facing the wrong way, but Zach Silver spinning to the inside of Church Corner will lose positions despite the safety car being called, as they're not on the circuit.
So 2 separate instances probably prompted the safety car to be called, and indeed this is the 2nd time for this race, but 3rd time this evening we've seen the appearance of Rob Szymanski in that Chevy safety car.
4.5 minutes till the end of the race. So if the field can bunch up quickly enough, we will see more racing. We won't be ending under safety cars. Zach Silver a little overcommitted to the chicane, trying to get going again. He's going to come into pit lane. I wonder if he's going to take a new set of tyres to try and help him gain some places back. Will give up a couple of places. Overstreet, one of the other cars to make a mistake, will get past. Will Olivia be close enough? They're coming through the final chicane. Looks like they will be indeed. And Ben Asker coming through final chicane as we just hear Zach Silver spinning the wheels out of the pit box. Will get out just in time before being passed by Ben Asker.
It's going to be a shame for Zach. Well, not necessarily actually. 3 minutes and a bit to go. The field should catch up this lap. We may see the safety come in this lap. Actually, the field actually might be a bit too far back. So it might be a 2-lap shootout essentially for the end of the race.
Yeah, you can see safety car running just under 100 kilometers an hour. Maybe a little bit too quickly for the field to catch up in time.
He's doing a good weave there. I'm not sure if that signal. That might be a signal that says safety car's ending. Oh no, I thought he was pulling away, but no, never mind. He's going to stay put.
Oh, just running to that 100 kilometer an hour speed limit. As we have
very
nearly,
wise and so as well.
Yeah, looks like we will just about go on for another lap. As Ben Asker not quite caught up to the pack in time, so we will have one more safety car lap, and then we will be on the final lap of the race. So it will be a 1-lap shootout to end this race. Not a lot of time. That's our new tyre gamble for Zach Silver. Maybe not going to quite pay us. Was maybe hoping there'd be 3 more laps in the race. Instead, we will only be getting 1 more lap. Imagine now that the field is bunched up a little bit, we'll see a little bit more pace from the safety car. But either way, it will not be enough to get a second racing lap in. We'll just wait for the cars to come round before we have our final flying lap.
Not much longer. Poor safety car will floor the throttle and get out of the way of these guys before they start racing. Of course, they're going to get underway for a final lap of this second race. 1 more race to go, but bear in mind, folks, look at the grid as it stands now. Flip it on its head, minus the safety car in 11th. Ben Asker currently will start on pole for race 3. Alfie will start at the back of the grid.
Yeah, and that decision from Zach Silver not benefiting this race. Maybe could be of benefit to them next race, where we will have that 20-minute reverse grid race. Our field coming up to the final chicane as we are about to go racing through final chicane. Bunched up, waiting for the green flag as Alfie Bevan leads him away now for the final lap of the race. Doesn't look like we're getting going just yet.
No, as there's been a bit of miscommunication with the safety car and race control as they are now going to get racing. And up the inside, there's Gus Peters for the lead and 3 wide in the background, shuffling off the circuit. That's Ben Beams, I believe. And maybe it's a bit of miscommunication of race control and the drivers. I don't think they were entirely sure they were racing.
Quite a bit of confusion there has allowed Gus Peters to take lead, and with this being the final lap, he may well take this race victory. Pavot is up to 3rd head of country as well. Olivia is up to 5th. It's been a very confusing restart, and it is also our final lap of the race. Not long to go here through Church Corner. Alfie trying to get a good run on Gus Peters and is closing up. Gus defending the inside as Ben Beams, I think, has made a little mistake through Church Corner and is dropping positions, breaking for final chicane. Gus Peters running it in very deep, gets onto the curb, gets onto the chicane. Contact between 2 of them. That's compromised Alfie Bevan and may slide. Yep, Pavot spinning round and finding themselves in the pit lane, will drop to the back of the field and will start on pole position for the next race.
I mean, that's not terrible for him, is it? Let's be honest. But, what a way to finish that race. That was unfortunate.
Confusing and unfortunate, I think, are the terms to describe that.
Yes. Well, we have our reverse grid then for what will be race 3. Pavo pole, Oscar 2nd, Beans 3rd, Overstreet 4th, Wood 5th, and didn't quite catch the rest of the results.
So we'll have a short little break before we get going for our reverse grid. So take the results as you see on your screen, flip them on its head, and that will be how we start the final race of the evening. Final 20 minutes, or final reverse grid race of the season. James Pavot from pole position, Ben Asker in 2nd, Ben Beams in 3rd, have Chris Overstreet in 4th, Alex Wood in 5th, Zach Silver in P6, Olivia from P7, Conti in P8, Alfie Bevan in P9, and Gus Peters in P10 from the back row. It'll be interesting to see how our drivers fight throughout the field. We are just waiting for the cars to start gridding up for the final race, but they will be doing so fairly shortly.
Indeed, and we have a certain race control in chat. Ben, good evening. Hello, Ben.
I'm on my mobile internet.
Oh.
Because I have no actual internet.
So that would be why the race control got a little bit confused there. It did look like...
Yes, it went a little bit odd at the end there. For race 3, Rob is just going to lead them round for the pace lap and the start lap, and then just go green flag from then.
Lovely. Cool.
So I was just letting you know what's going on. Many apologies.
Funny evening.
Yeah. I just saw every car drift off into nowhere. So it was Very strange
Lovely.
from my end as well.
Very
But
nice.
hope to be back in the near future.
No, have a wonderful evening, Ben. Stay tuned. You might just watch in and see some good racing action for the rest of the evening.
Have a good one, guys.
Speak soon. Oh dear. Oh, Ben.
Well, at least that answers some of that confusion. Thank you, Ben,
Yes.
for answering that confusion. Shame, as that did mix up the results a little bit at the end there, but unfortunately, technical issues and such do just get in the way every so often.
They do indeed, unfortunately, on this occasion. We lost race control, but we'll have a fantastic last 20-minute race with the safety car leading away for the start of the race. I'm quite looking forward to it. We've had a good battles up and down the grid, especially when there's only 10 cars on the grid. It's always lovely to see. But yeah, we'll do it one more time, and that's Tuesday evening done and dusted.
Yep, we have a reverse grid though. I believe Zach Silver and Chris Overstreet haven't loaded onto the grid.
Oh dear.
I feel like the grid is quite right, something tells me, but maybe that's just maybe I'm missing a little something. See the lights coming on now, and we will start our final formation lap of the evening. So it looks like Pavot is towards the back of the field.
Interesting. We'll go with it. We'll see what happens. But unfortunately, it looks like technical issues or pit lane starts, at least for most of these drivers.
Ben Asker is also at the back. And we are missing Overstreet and Zach Silver.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
As Ben mentioned, being on his mobile network and having internet issues, maybe there is a wider issue that we are unaware of. That is also affecting Zach Silver and Overstreet, which would be unfortunate to miss them from the final race. Unfortunately, technical gremlins getting in the way of our final two sprint races. This season has had quite a few technical gremlins from our server, doing a Windows update during our Castle Combe round to completely bricking out on us. Causing the week delay we have to our Tuesday season compared to all of our other series in Season 4 of oNiD for 2025. It's been a bit of a tough one, but we will persevere and see it out to the end next week when we finish off with a sprint and feature race at Brands Hatch. That is next week. We still have one more race before we get there. It looks like we might be going for a single file start here as Ben Beams comes out of the final chicane.
Indeed, he's on a weave across the start finish line. We're going to get going for the final time this evening. And we are away.
Olivia to the inside of T1 on Alex Wood, trying to pick up P2 as a field fighting for position. Our usual race leaders trying to come through. Many people late on the brakes, 3 wide into Campbell Corner, and everyone getting parked up on the apex a little bit. Ben Asker has had an issue spinning earlier on, and it's Ben Beam still leads way. Olivia holds on second, Gus Peters up to third, Pavot in fourth, Alex Wood in fifth, have Alfie Bevan, who's still on P6, Conte in seventh, as well with Ben Asker spinning down the order. Heading through the back end of the circuit now, heading through the long right-hander. As Ben mentioned, we'll not be seeing any safety cars this race. Just might be a bit of a disappointment to Ben Asker with that. spin and start of this race. Alfie Bevan trying to go for a move round the outside of Church Corner, and Alex Wood keeps the car on the circuit. Will get the move done, and Contu now trying to follow them through with the inside towards the club chicane.
Indeed, and we're getting a good little battle here for the last time this evening. Russell Mans has disconnected, so no more safety car for this evening. It's just a straight race for all these guys as they fight it out to see the best of the drivers this evening is going to be Beaver up the inside of Gus Peters into turn 1. Looks like it was an easy enough move to make, however they're still side by side as they go down into turn 2 and 3. And ahead though, that is leaders going at it. Olivia making their way through past Ben Beams, and Pavot now looking to try and collect the scraps as well.
Pavot trying to go round the outside, carry the momentum, and will do so to take the lead of this race. Alfie Bevan gets the move done on Gus Peters, who's now coming under pressure from Contu, who's trying to look round the outside. Noble Corner can't go round the outside there. Gus Peters, big slide though, bouncing off of the curb on the inside of Noble Corner, and will hold on to P5 now. But Alfie Bevan will try and chase the leaders, will try and not let Pavot break away at the front of the field. Into Church Corner, you can see the different lines from our pack of cars still fairly close together, except for Ben Asker, as we said, with unfortunate spin. Now into the club chicane. Olivia, a lot of curb on the first apex, maybe hindering them a little bit as Alfie Bevan tries to get a good exit, does get a good exit, will take P3 off of Ben Beams.
Yeah, very good. That's not a bad move at all. It's a very good move, in fact. So he'll continue to push on and will look to regain a couple more positions hopefully in this race, and still got a good old 17 and a bit minutes to do so.
Gus Peters running very deep into Campbell Corner, will allow Contu to take P5 from them. But Gus Peters going to try and come back here, gets a good exit off of Seagrave Corner. Now through Noble, they'll be side by side. Gus on the outside though is only by a front bumper. Does run himself out wide onto the grass. We'll have to get the car slowed down for Woodcut. And that allows Alex Wood to close up. Alex Wood not quite able to find a way through. They'll further up Alfie Bevan on the tail end of Olivia now through Church Corner. Olivia bouncing off the inside curb a little bit, trying to carry as much speed. Alfie Bevan not able to capitalise on it as they head now up to the club chicane. Alfie Bevan won't be close enough, but will be trying to close in.
Yeah, he will be. Oh, that's a big moment for Olivia. But actually, even though it looks messy, actually got away really well out of that final chicane.
Yeah, was sort of able to straight line over the bumps and the car not get unsettled much further. Alfie bouncing over a little bit more, the car a little more unsettled, and not able to carry quite as much momentum. Through the chicane now, you can see different lines between Cobb and Seagrave. Alfie tighter through the left-hander, opens up the right-hander, can carry more momentum and will close up on Olivia though through Noble Corner. Difficult to find a way through. Gotta be careful of bouncing the underside of the car over the curb. It can cause the car to just sort of straighten out and understeer towards the outside as Contu looks to have gone move round the outside of Ben Beams through that Noble Corner. Ben Beams nearly running wide onto grass, gets a little twitch trying to hold the car off, and that allows Gus Peters to come through. Alex Wood with the momentum will slot the gap. We'll have to carry it round the outside of Church Corner, which not enough bravery in them to do that, and will not be able to take P6, but actually have a good exit out of Church Corner up towards the chicane. Are they brave enough on the brakes to get the move done? No. Are they on the brakes? Will wait for another opportunity. They'll further in front. Olivia still holding on in front of Alfie Bevan. Is preventing Alfie from getting a move on and chasing Pavot in the lead of the race. Good run though through T1 from Alfie. Might give them the inside into Campbell.
Might just do so, but not for now. Stays put as Alfie's really trying to get past this defence from Lydia here. Is really good. Keeping him behind for now, but it looks like a very good run out of chicane. Outside will shortly become the inside. I have a feeling it's maybe battle done and dusted for Alfie. Oh no, maybe not. Olivia able to keep hold of position, but Alfie's not going away.
Looking to the outside of Woodcock, plants the throttle, gets 2 wheels onto the grass, but keeps the car on the track. Olivia leaves Alfie the space, and Alfie gets moved on, swoops in front for Church Corner, and now has a 3.5 second lead to close up in the remaining 14 minutes and 20 seconds. Can Pavot hold on to take the race lead, or race win? Will Alfie close it down and take their would be their first win of the evening, Pavot's second win of the evening, if they can hold on.
If he can hold on, we shall see. He's got a good lead up ahead, but Alfie, you know, he's quick. He's got 30 or just under 14 minutes to catch the lead, so we'll see what we can do.
Alex Sweet still trying to chase down their teammate Ben Beams, who's ran very deep into Campbell. Compromises the line through Cobb and will still be compromised through Seagrave. See how much Alex Sweet can close in. Biff a bounce on the curb, has to pin Biff counter steer to correct the slide, but still able to carry the momentum. Now into Noble. And into Goodwood now. Slightly tighter line from Alex. Closes in a little bit. Different lines through Village. Simple, easy, flat out right-hander. It's just by do you take a tighter line to shorten the distance, or outside line to set yourself up for Church Corner in a better manner. Alex Sweet losing a bit of speed through Church Corner, and the gap opens up to Ben Beams. We'll go on board with Conti, who's trying to close in on Olivia. Has closed in 6.5 tenths on the previous lap, and only 6 tenths back now. Should be on the tail end at the end of this lap.
It'd be nice to see what he does, but he's trying everything he can to get up into P3's Conti here, but the gap extending to Alfie in P2, so it looks very much like battle for best of rest.
Into Goodwood. 4 tenths now the gap. You can see the slightly different lines. Olivia just opting to hold a slightly tighter line. And now through Church, you can see how the car gets a little bit unsettled on the inside curb. Olivia running a little bit wide across the grass a bit, but still carried good momentum through the corner. Into the final chicane. More of the first apex curb, more of the second, and
That's a car off.
yeah, that's Ben
What was
Astor.
that? Oh, Ben Astor, torrid time. It's stuck at that final chicane. We'll have to wait for a safe place to rejoin, and we'll do so very shortly.
Last lap around, Alfie Bevan 6.5 tenths quicker than Pavot, showing that he does have the pace to close in. Let's continue to watch this fight for third place. Olivia, a lot of curb through Campbell, pushes him out wide and tight line into Cobb Corner. Again, that compromises through the rest of the sequence and allows Conti to close up. Conti has now got on to the rear bumper. It's all about finding a way past. Different curb usage there. Olivia using a lot more of the inside curb and able to get the car rotated despite having the inside wheels up on the curb. Conti closes back in through Woodcock. Will be getting slipstream now as they head towards Church Corner. Tighter line for Conti. We see a car up ahead running through the grass, kicking some dust out, and into the final chicane.
Right, so go, and again, getting a lot of curb usage. Olivia being able to potentially get just a little bit of a better drive out the corner, and essentially try to take as straight as line as possible. Might get a finger waggle if they do it any more often than what they're doing at the moment, but is able to stay ahead. Conti's thing is about making a move up the inside. I think a little bit unrealistic there, as he does actually maybe compromise himself a little bit, but in turn Olivia goes deep into the second part of this complex and gives back the time they potentially would have gained from Conti going offline into the start of that chicane.
Meanwhile, at the front of the field, James Pavot having a slow lap, losing 1.4 seconds to Bevan last lap. Though Bevan's lost some time this lap, the gap came down to a second. It's back up to 1.6 seconds, but Conti has closed up even further. You can see closing in. Olivia running slightly defensive into Church Corner, all over that inside curb, and is able to carry more momentum through Church Corner. Opens up a couple of car lengths and saves them from any attack into the club chicane this time around.
It does. They'll stick with it for now into the final chicane. They go on Olivia fighting on the tooth and nail to try and keep that car behind of Conti, but looks like being able to do so. The lead battle again is close. It's now approaching within 1 second. Alfie will be slowly seeing the benefits of potentially getting a bit of a tow from the leader, Pavot.
Again, Olivia a little bit wide. Through chicane, bouncing over the curb, compromises their line. Look, Conti's got alongside, he's got Parrot round the outside on the exit of Seagrave Corner, finds the opportunity, sluts through the gap and takes P3. Can Olivia fight back at all? They've shown not to be sort of being able to hold up Conti, being a little bit quicker in places, has particularly been quicker through Church Corner. Can they use that to maybe launch a counter attack?
We shall see. It is going to be a matter of sticking with Conti now, see if they can stick to the slipstream. They go wide, they go very wide, almost onto the grass there, both cars actually, but onto the grass there. It just shows how they're pushing. Ben being sadly dropping to 7th, I think went wide through the back end of the circuit, and gives a position to Wood for P6. I think Olivia and Conti both are done fighting for now, but we shall see.
Both of our two leaders having scruffy laps. 17.3 for Pavot, still half a second quicker than Bevan, down into 17.8. That is 1.6 seconds slower than their best lap so far this race. So not having any safety cars breaking up this race, maybe bringing the tyre wear into effect a little bit more. The temperature's sort of still a little higher than it was in the first race, a little cooler than the second race. 17 degrees ambient, 22 track temp, as you can see in the top right. Wind has died down, is only 3 kilometers per hour, as we see these drivers through the back end of the circuit. Time is starting to run out, less than 7 minutes left in the race for Alfie Bevan to try and close up to Pavot. If Bevan can't close up, may not have a lot of time to make a move. So it is effectively now or never if Bevan wants to close up to leave themselves enough time to make the move. Through the chicane, bouncing over that final apex curb doesn't seem to have done them any good. Only gains 2 tenths that lap.
Yeah, that's not going to do it. He needs to find some more time. He actually did find a little bit of time, but he's only got, what, 4 or 5 more laps? He needs to find something a little bit more than what he's doing at the minute to try and get to the leader.
Pavot, a lot of curb usage through the left-hander of Cobb Corner. Unsettled, the car pushed it out wide and compromised their run through Seagrave, and that's allowed Alfie to close up. The gap down to 1 second again. But can Alfie Bevan continue to close in, or will he make another little mistake that helps to bring Alfie Bevan up? We'll have to wait and see, as a little further back, fighting for P4, Gus Peters has closed up to Olivia and will be the next car to try and pass them. We've seen how long Olivia could hold on to Peters. Can he hold on to the rest of the race here? Peters with the run, looking to the inside of Church Corner, trying to get this move done immediately. Olivia's good, trying to hang around the outside, little bit of tapping through the corner, but both drivers hold on to the car, and it's a run up to the club chicane. Gus Peters a car length back. Can he make a move under braking? Brakes later. Has to go to the outside though. Isn't confident enough and will hold back in line. Meanwhile, front, Alfie Bevan gained 7.5 tenths on Pavot last lap around. around. Pavot will need to respond if they don't want to be put under pressure for the rest of this race. Just under 5 minutes of racing left here at Thruxton. And we've got a battle for the lead, a battle for 4th place, and maybe a little potential battle. Ben Beam still only a second back from Alex Wood. They could be fighting for P6 for the end of this race.
Indeed, it can be, and that is an interesting change of position there. Looked like Peters getting past Olivia there pretty easy through the final chicane. Not sure if Olivia got sort of bad run out the exit. It almost looked like it gave him the position.
Long right-hander. Gus will try and open up the gap now to not have Olivia make a counter-attack. But these cars now 5 seconds back from Conti. Remember, passed Olivia not too long ago. But of course, that fighting costing a bit of time. Meanwhile, Alfie Bevan continues to close in as well. The fight for P6 has gone as Ben Beams trying to feature in a wildlife documentary rather than a racing show. That's how wide they ran out of Goodwood Corner. But the fight at the front starting to heat up here. Alfie Bevan can see Pavot clearly in his sights. Gets a slide, trying to put the power down. Look at the rear end move around the corrections that Bevan has to make out of Seagrave Corner. That is the difficulty these drivers are having through the later part of the race. The tyres just starting to wear, the car becoming more and more difficult to drive. Can Pavot hold on to take their second race win of the evening, or can Alfie Bevan make a move to claim their first?
See what we can do as they are going to go now onto the penultimate lap. So it'll be one more lap, and well, they'll come to the line now. Will be this lap plus one more. Just. Alpha's not going to be able to close it here. Lap times, only a 10th difference between them, so Alfie's managing to keep up, but Pavot just seems to be keeping him honest. That's enabling him just to hold that P1 position. Alfie does close in the brakes, so it goes a little bit deep. That's going to cost him some time, and he'll claw it back to getting a bit of an over-under into the second and third part of the chicane. But Pavot just ekes that gap open a little bit more. Gus Peters falling and dropping position to Olivia, who's fighting back up into P4. I recall that they were fighting for the third place position was Olivia, but sadly dropped a position down from Conti, who now holds that third position. Fourth and fifth still to play for, and I'm sure that battle will continue right along to the end of the race as Olivia goes wide, and that's going to get a position back to Gus Peters.
I want to say it was a mistake, maybe through turn 1 from Gus Peters that allowed Olivia to get back up to P4, showing just how difficult it is to drive these cars at this late stage of the race, and then Olivia making a mistake just a few corners later to let Gus retake the place. Up at front though, Pavot has responded. This lap has opened up a little bit of a gap. It's 17.7, 17.9. These times are well over a second, nearly 2 seconds in Alfie Bevan's case, slower than what they were doing than their best laps of the race. Shows you just how much they're pushing, just how much they're struggling on the tires. Look at the rear end sliding there for Alfie Bevan, trying to get the car slowed down and turned into Campbell Corner. This is actually allowing Conti to close in, who took a second last lap out of Alfie Bevan. That is how messy, that's how much these drivers are struggling on the tires, and that mistake from Alfie Bevan has just allowed Pavot to open the gap. It's over a second and a half now, and Pavot is well on their way to taking their second win of the evening. That is as long as they don't make any mistakes for the rest of the race, which is easier said than done with how much these drivers are struggling on those tires. But with a bit of a gap now, he can afford to take it easy, and he's certainly taking it easy there. Someone who hasn't taken it easy is Alfie Bevan, pushing as hard as he can, gets right onto the grass, all four-wheeled, sliding the car by trying to do anything he can. Desperate, as there's only a few corners to go. 3 club corner clips the tyre wall on the second apex. It will not be enough, and Pavot will come through to take their second win of the evening. Alfie Bevan will have to second for Settle once more. Conti will take the final podium place in third place, and Gus Peters, saved at the end despite making a late mistake, will cling on to fourth, as Olivia also made a mistake. Alex Swade back will take P6, with Ben Beams in P7. Ben Asker having a torrid time in this final race will take our final finishing position in P8. Unfortunately, as you said, Zach Silver and Overstreet not able to make the race. We believe having technical issues, leaving us a little short on the grid. But a very difficult race, as we've seen from our drivers there. But some great racing nevertheless.
One more car to see the checker flag. Ben Asker will round up the last finishing position of this final race this evening. And it's only one more round to go. Next week, we'll see the conclusion of this British Stockcar Championship. Oh, and clips the tyre wall for good measure, Ben. Oh, please, it says killed his car. It hasn't. It's fine. Just about able to get going again. One more round to go, as we do have a delayed season with the skip round we had due to server issues a couple of weeks ago. Season not quite yet ending for Assetto Corsa. One more race to go, but a lot of our seasons, a lot of our series actually finishing this week because they've been able to keep on track. But Ask to see his checker flag. That's the last car to finish the finishing line, and that is the penultimate round for the oNiD SimHound British Stock Car Championship. Done and dusted here at Thruxton.
Done and dusted indeed. A little short on the grid, unfortunately, but still some great racing nevertheless. Penn said in chat, to be honest, of all the times for his internet to die, the time when he's about to call green for the final lap of a race is probably the funniest. I'm not sure I'm funniest, but most inconvenient, perhaps? Yes, and Raining Monkfish saying, brilliant evening. Thanks for all the hard work. Well, thank you very much for your appreciation. Thank you for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed the races. And yes, hopefully you can join us back again next week for our final round. Brands Hatch Grand Prix, our final feature round of the season. That means we will start with a 20-minute race, and then we will have a longer 40-minute race. Mandatory pit stop. Tyre wear will come into play once again. It'll be interesting to see how it ends off, how the championships will be decided. We'll get an update next week on just how close they are. But it is, I think we will see the top three separated by 10 points roughly, no more than 15, I would say, at an estimate. But yeah, very close going into the final round, where that feature race will most likely decide everything.
Yep, absolutely. That's going to be absolutely awesome to watch. Next week, we'll be live. We'll be the only stream for next week. We're just rounding off our final week here for Season 4. As we said, we've finished the LMU GT3 MPG series for Mondays. Tuesday, today, was the penultimate round of British Stock Car. Tomorrow, we go to the LMU SimHound Academy, where they'll be having their final race of the season. That is going to be streamed here on Twitch. It'll be the Le Mans circuit for the final round there. Thursday, iRacing GT3 Championship. It's our final round there of iRacing. And we are going to Scotty.
Have a guess.
I can't remember. Oh, Le Mans. Le Mans?
Yes, Le Mans.
iRacing. Yeah. iRacing. Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. I said about it. The tracks the track choice clashing between sims. So yes, Le Mans for iRacing, which will be the final round of the GT3 showdown, and then Sunday LMU 100 Series final round on the LMU Championship, all hypercars. And that is going to be at, as I click on it, again, Le Mans. Finishing off the season in style. Baguettes all round. We'll have some fantastic races coming up, especially on that Le Mans circuit. For now, it is good night from myself. Scotty, it has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for this week. One more week to go for AC. We won't hear your voice on Thursday. It will be standing in. Johnny will be standing in for yourself, but we will look forward to just sharing the comments booth one more time for our delayed final round of the British Stockcar Championship here on oNiD on Tuesday of next week. Next stream is live tomorrow. Will be the Academy, and they'll be sure to bring you some fantastic multi-class racing. Until then, folks, have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your week, and we will see you all very, very soon.
Good night.